to the channel. Today we have a really interesting and quirky video for you guys. Today I've just picked the keys up to this 1993 Toyota Century. We're going to start with a walk around because there is so much for me to actually talk about with this one. It is probably one of the most quirkiest cars I have ever driven and ever been around. So we're going to start with the looks and various other things around the car. Now, although these look quite big, they're actually relatively small in regards to the interior. So we'll get to that part in a minute. But outside, it's quite big and bulky. We have a very large front end with C badging and this, an eagle. We're going to go with an eagle that is sort of the badging for the Century. There's not a lot of Toyota badging because of course this is a Toyota product, but the actual eagle comes down onto the wheels, which have these huge tires on them, obviously for comfort. And coming round the back we have eagles and the Toyota badging. I think this is the only Toyota badge that is actually on the exterior of this car with the Century logoing, and again another eagle at the back. As we come back round, there's another C badge just there, and such a cool window configuration here. You have these pop-out windows that are electric that you can actually pop in and out from the interior. Now coming around the back, you have a bit of net curtain in here, which is in fact on a frame that is solely put in the car, not necessarily for disguising everything, but you don't want tinted windows in this. It is a luxury car, so a bit of net curtains. It's such a Japanese thing though, so cool. Now opening the boot is actually on a button with an electrical solenoid. Now this is really hard to gauge on camera, but it is actually massive, this boot. And in fact, to my knowledge, they actually designed this so you could have 4 sets of golf clubs in here at one time. Obviously for 4 people in the car, you could actually put 4 golf clubs, so it was designed around large golf clubs and many golf clubs in the boot. We have various Japanese things. We have some Japanese lettering here, obviously telling you about the spare wheel and all that sort of stuff. So huge boot on this with an absolutely beautiful textured liner all the way around, even on the boot top here. Really cool, very fine product this. Now we'll jump in the driver's seat because there's a fair few things that I need to talk about inside here. Now firstly being the array of switches in this thing is insane. All of them, or mostly all of them, are in Japanese, so it is a bit of a lottery to see which one you're actually pressing. You do get a gauge as to what you're actually pressing when you press it, but most of it, bar these bits here, are actually in Japanese. Now funnily enough, this actually has a sport mode just here for what I believe to be the transmission and for the accelerator just here, so very interesting. This actually has sport modes, which is funny. Now other things to point out, quirkiness, you actually have a button here for the rear of the car, so you can actually press this and then this means everything here changes, so you can actually change what is happening in the rear of the car. So if the driver pulls up and the client would like the rear of the car to be changed in any way, he can actually change that before he gets there. You also have the buttons here for these little windows, which is really cool, all motorized, and every door has an ashtray and a cigarette lighter. Now this is the Toyota Century key, again with the famous eagle on it, and the eagle just there on the steering wheel. I'll actually turn the ignition on to show everything here, bar the mileage, is actually digital. So you have a digital speedo and you have a digital RPM right there. You also have a digital petrol gauge. Coming over here though, probably one of the coolest things, if you did not know, a lot of Toyotas, like Chasers from this generation as well, do have these swinging air vents. You can actually see just now up here, they're actually swinging from side to side. Again, so over-engineered, but in the coolest way. Right, now we're going to jump into the back of this thing because this is where the party really starts. So you have, look at this, a shoehorn that comes with this car, because obviously driving around with your shoes off because you're in maximum comfort, you got to put them on when you get to your destination. So there is a lovely eagle-headed shoehorn right there. Now back here is probably one of the coolest places ever. So not only do you get cigarette lighters and ashtrays in each door, but probably one of the coolest features other than the Panasonic TV and video cassette player just here. Yes, this actually has a physical TV and a VHS tape player in the back. From the factory, we have this, which is probably one of the coolest things you'll ever see in any car ever. So you flip this here, and this actually comes down, so the rear passenger this side can put their legs and their feet right through for maximum comfort. Yes, this is actually a thing that this car has from the factory. And of course, I'm gonna kick my shoes off and have a go myself. Look at that. Does it get any better? And as you're sat in the back of this car with your legs through the passenger seat and your Panasonic TV rolling a VHS tape, it's just a lap of luxury. If we shut the door, it's so quiet, so refined. The seats are unbelievably comfortable. You have no idea how comfy they are. It is just another level of comfort. Put your feet through there. Now the interior of this car, there is a few quirks in this that are, I would say, from the American side. So going down here in the back, there is actually a trash box. So it actually says trash on the top of that little box there, obviously to keep all of your rubbish in as you're lounging around in the back of your Toyota Century. But it's little quirks like that that you find after being in one of these and enjoying the space around you. There's so many little bits that are a slight nod to the US market. Right, we'll pull this door open. We could pull the shoehorn out and pop our shoes back on. You could just imagine stepping out from your lovely car journey to a meeting in the Century. So that was a few quirks and features of the Toyota Century, but what we're going to do now is take it on the road, see what this thing is like to drive, see what it's like to enjoy with that V8 up front. So driving the Toyota Century, the land yacht from Toyota. Now first things first, it is, as I've already said, slightly small in here in a weird way. It's not small in the sense that it is actually small, because the car is massive and it's very, very wide. It's just my driving seat, am I right in thinking that this is all the way back? It is all the way back.
That is, yeah, sadly, mate.
So this is actually all the way back at the moment. And look how far and close to the steering wheel I am. It's so weird. There is a large body to this car, but the inside is actually rather small, which is strange, but it gives a good driving experience. Firstly being that, of course, you have a lot of legroom in the back and you have party room, I'm going to say, for everybody in the back, but the driver doesn't really need that much room. In all fairness, this car is designed around Japanese people, so it doesn't need loads of space, which is quite good. There is loads of armrest potential here as well, although that TV screen's like right there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's right there. It's right there.
It's all about the passenger.
Yeah, it's all about the passenger. The driver doesn't really get a lot, if I'm quite honest. It does go down in history, and many people do say as this being a Japanese Rolls Royce, don't they?
That's right.
It's one of those things, the Japanese Rolls Royce. And when you drive one, you really understand that, because it is actually such a peaceful and comfortable place to be. This, although the steering wheel's quite large, it is, you know, relatively direct in the sense that it's wafty, but when you do point it down the road and you want to go that way, it does go that way, although it feels like there's no connection whatsoever, because it glides as if it is a big land yacht. I was about to put the wipers on there as well, because it's obviously a Japanese car. Now thankfully I've actually been to Japan, so I've seen these in their natural habitat, and I must admit there is a lot of them, and I did understand then, because we did actually get a taxi one of these when we were over there. Now over there, the guy would have come up, he would have been dressed to the nines with a little hat on and white gloves, which are actually right there. They're in the armrest of this car, which is, again, super cool to me. I love the idea of that. Seeing one of these, though, over there and then driving one in the UK, it couldn't be, not necessarily more out of its comfort zone, but it is just an experience, and it's such a cool experience. I love the fact that the RPMs are digitally displayed in front of you, because it doesn't need to rev round to any RPM. It just sit and waft at 1900 RPM, which is really, really cool. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you very much to its owner. Thank you, mate, for bringing me out and
Thanks for
enjoying
having us,
it.
mate.
I appreciate that, mate. And yeah,